Oh, what's that? Hello. Good afternoon, sort of, everybody. It's the lunchtime after, the day after the evening before, isn't it? Happy the day after Doctor Who Day to you all. Welcome back to the channel for more Type 40. Type 40, it's more like Type 15. I'm getting up to 40 very gradually as time goes on. Say yo if you can hear me. I was going to say do a shout out. We don't do a shout out here at Type 40. We're British mostly. We don't shout out ever. We call out now and again. So yes, I'm jumping on for a chill stream with you guys at lunchtime to see what's going on, where you are with everything that's gone on in the last 48 hours and 61 years and 2 days. To be exact. My God, that weekend was intense. How was yours? Please let me know. I'm in the live chat. Oh, lots of people there already. Thank you for joining me. So I may have a friend joining me from across content creation in a couple of minutes. And yeah, so this is sort of where we're at, really. It's like waking up from that party, isn't it? Yeah, you got the empties are everywhere, and one or two things have been soiled. Something is in the air. And where did that come from? That's how I feel. I was in a terrible state yesterday. I do feel a little bit more human today, I'm happy to say, as human as I'm ever going to be. So let me know, obviously, how you are. Results may vary and all that. Okay, so without further ado, let's click in with it. Yes, so, that doesn't wake you up, nothing will. Hello, everybody. Yes, so we are here on Monday, the 25th of November, 2024. I nearly said 2025 there. What? I'm wishing my life away. Everybody wishing my life away. Hope you had a good one. And, so how are you feeling about everything that went on over the weekend? It did look like it was going to be a really quiet one, didn't it? And so I was beavering away, working away on the old live stream there for Type 40 Live. Thank you, everybody who turned up for that. It was a big show for us. Our Doctor Who Day special. Here it was. This is it. 2.5 hours in the end. We were jumping on for a couple of hours. It ended up being 2.5 hours because we had so much to talk about and lots of lovely people to talk about it with. So thank you, everyone. It really is sincerely appreciated each and every time you guys show up. That was the fifth one. The fifth Doctor Who Day special we've done on Type 40 Live. So, coming up with something different each and every time. Slightly different dynamic, different voices, different mix of people, which I think is what makes it fresh, what keeps it working, what keeps the engine going. Thank you, everybody. Some comments to get stuck into already. Thank you all. Let's see who's here. See who else is with it. Am I with it? Jury's out. We've got the Peter Venkman fan site is in and says greetings and salutations. I saw the latest Ghostbusters film about 10 days ago. PVFS. I'll start calling you PV. But it's too close to pervert, isn't it? PV. So I've seen the latest Ghostbusters movie. I didn't see it at the cinema. Could be a conversation to be had about that. Ghostbusters, I think it's its 40th anniversary this coming weekend. Something else to celebrate. Good afternoon, Dan, King of the Geeks. Birmingham's King of the Geeks, Michael, to be specific. Don't lay claim to any other territories. Thank you. Stephen Braddock's here in the live chat as well. He says, hi, Dan. Hi, Stephen. How are you, mate? I noticed you had a busy weekend as well. You're getting together with your partner, was it? And it was a birthday in the Braddock Enclave. That's how it went. I've got a good afternoon too from Darren. Hi, Darren. How are you, mate? Loving your pictures from your wanderings around, yourself and your good lady. Stay safe, keep warm, and all that jazz. I bet you're great with a flask, aren't you? I bet you, yeah. I bet you've got several. So we've got Peter, we've got Michael, we've got Stephen, we've got PV, who says, I haven't been to sleep at all. It's 8 You haven't been to sleep, what, since Doctor Who Day? Or just since last night? Let me know. We need to get to the bottom of these things. We can hear you. We can hear you. Is there anybody there? Is there anybody there? Yes, we can hear you. Hi, all from Hobart in Tasmania. It's midnight there, says Stephanie Barrett. I'm suffering, Stephanie. I'm suffering. How are you? How's your time? It's midnight on Monday, so you're significantly further into the recovery period than I am, aren't you? And Stephen's had another cold start, but been out in the garden cleaning up all the damage from Bert. Is Bert your cat or your dog or an errant hedgehog? Let me know. Let me know, by all means. Who is Bert? Or is this something that is it a hedgehog? Is it one of these? Oh, God. I'm going to be dozy all day, says PV. Well, some people would say I've been dozy every day for years and years by now, mate. Afternoon all, says John Yulden. Afternoon to you too, John. Good to see you there, and thank you for your company on the Doctor Who Day show the other night. Oh, we did have a laugh, didn't we? And we did that for 2.5 hours. And after the show, how long did we stay talking for, John? About an hour and a half, something like that. We may as well have just carried on live streaming it. Maybe or maybe not, actually. Some of it could have been legally actionable, but I think we could have got away with it over on Rumble had we kept going. What have we got? Yes, so PV says, I was checking out Bab. Bab? Thought you were in the States. That's a Brummie expression, Bab. I was checking out Bab for Friday deals and found they just unlocked the 4th costume. You mean the 4th Doctor's costume? When you say the 4th Doctor's costume, do you mean his, the one that Tom didn't like? You mean the burgundy one? I love that. Or do you mean the proper one, the proper costume? Yeah, let me know. Unlocked, what is Bab? It can't be what I think it is, so what is Bab? Should have also ran a poll like I started to about that live stream chat. I knew I'd most likely be an echo chamber. PV, I have no idea what you're talking about. You're going to have to help me out. Oh, dear. MCTV says, howdy. Howdy, back to you, MCTV. Is that an authentic howdy? Are you a Texan? Or are you affecting Texans? Have you culturally appropriated it for the sake of the stream? Grumpy old Bob. Hi, Bob says, hello, Dan, on the chat from the east coast of America, where it's 8 a.m. Anybody who's grumpy is all right by me, Bob. God, bloody hell, have I been grumpy the last day or two? I've been seriously grumpy. I think it's because sincerely, other content creators will tell you this. Sometimes after you do those live streams, you get a little bit adrenalized and it's hard to sort of come down from them. It can be hard to relax and unwind. So in all sincerity, chatting with my friends after the show is actually quite a good way of kind of taking it down a notch or two. But my God. Stephen Braddock says, oh, yes, Stephen Braddock. Yes, somebody told me about this. Dan, I missed the Doctor Who Night show due to the power being knocked out by Storm Bert, but watched on catch-up. I'm here today. Oh, I see. Bert was a storm. A natural disaster rather than, well, I suppose you could say a puppy or a kitten or a cat is a natural disaster as well. Don't know. Yeah, it was a great show, even if I say so myself, even by our standards. Loved it. And we even got an appearance, didn't we, from Shooty Gatway himself.
A very happy Doctor Who Day.
Yeah, I was never really convinced that Shooty knew what he was saying there or why. They probably recorded it about April, didn't they? Let me know. When do you think that Shooty Gatwa recorded his Doctor Who Day for November video there? Instagram and X, type 40 Doctor Who. How early? How early? How long ago did he record that? More comments. Thank you, everybody. It has jumped a little bit. We've got afternoon. Yeah, we've got afternoon from John. I've seen that. I've been there. I got your howdy. We did that as well. Okay, we're back. MCTV said there was a Doctor Who remix album set to release in 2004 with Orbital, but it never came out. Anyone know if it will ever be released in 20? So it was supposed to come out 20 years ago. I know Orbital are massive Doctor Who fans. You don't just mean, you mean Orbital and several other artists that were coming at the theme tune and remixing it and doing creative things with it. I vaguely remember something about that. If it hasn't happened by now, it probably never will. Don't know. I mean, I love the Shaken Not Stirred album that David Arnold put together with all those recording artists to celebrate Bond in the mid-90s. Dave McCalmont and people like that were on it. It was great. It's before, I think it was what led him to get the job as the doing the music on Tomorrow Never Dies. But no Doctor Who version, sadly. Orbital are massive Doctor Who fans, or they were, they probably still are. As you know, they got, it's like footage, isn't there, of Matt Smith on stage with them for that. Excellent. Yeah, Bert is a storm. Thank you, Robert. He's thinking, so I don't have to. I'm glad someone's watching the news. David Mullins there in the live chat too. Hi, David says, I just received Phil Bevan's art collection book from Telos. Stunningly laid out, very thick book and quietly moving. Phil Bevan, my God, there's a name. Again, I think Phil passed away 20 years ago, didn't he? It's certainly before Doctor Who came back. Fabulous Doctor Who artist. I don't want to call him a fan artist, it seems. I think because when he was most prolific, Doctor Who wasn't on screen. And there were very few Doctor Who books kicking around. So most of his work found its way to unofficial publications, didn't it? But I think when you count sort of Starburst and Doctor Who Bulletin or Dreamwatch Bulletin, both versions, you know, he had work in all of those publications. So I don't think it's right to call him a fan artist, is it really? But Phil's work was incredible. If you've never seen it, go and seek it out. My favourite of Phil's works is probably his double-page spread for Doctor Who Bulletin for DWB, which was The Caves of Androzani. But yeah, again, so much beautiful work from Phil Bevan. I hope you enjoy the book, Telos. Yeah, I've been meaning to get that, and I never have. The thing is with Telos, and David Howe obviously runs Telos, is that they put out these stunning books, and I think I've got to get that. And they're always a little pricey. They're luxury books, aren't they? And by the time I think, oh, I'll go and get that book, they've announced the next one. It's like, oh, shiny thing, new shiny thing. Doctor Who fans, I think we're a lot like that. We were talking about the anniversary stories the other night on the show, and we were talking about celebrations as well. And I said to, I can't remember who it was, I think it was a general sort of observation, really, how Doctor Who fans are always celebrating something. And I say that glibly, because I'm just as bad as everybody else. Of course I am. And sure enough, in fact, I don't think it was when I got up this morning. Last night, sort of after midnight, I saw posts saying, happy 40th anniversary to the UK screening of the Five Doctors. I thought, here we are, another anniversary. Right away. We're straight on. We had one day off celebrating, didn't we, in Doctor Who land? Stephanie says, yes, it's Tuesday here. We're going to have a maximum of 24 degrees Celsius today. Well, I hope it's a comfortable one for you. PV says, if anyone can tell if I'm asleep or awake, let me know. I think if you the telltale sign is if you fart and wake yourself up, as I have done several times. Odds are you were asleep. The bollocks. Thanks, John. The bollocks humour kept on going after the show. Yeah, it did. I think we should stream those. Would people like us to stream those or to record those and put them out for subscribers only, for members only? Let us know, Instagram and exact type 40 Doctor Who. Hey, Rob's back. Rob Alexander, that is, and he says, hi all. Just sorted out my communal bins before the council make a mess of them. Yeah, it's not like they're paid to do any of that, is it? Build a bear, says PV. What now? Well, got a newspaper and got some post-it notes. Yeah, got to struggle to get a bear together, but some model makers out there, they may be able to rustle up something. I don't know. Who knows? Who knows? To be continued. To be continued. Back to the Doctor's costumes. PV says, I hated the burgundy one. I felt it kind of made him look sort of tired. Well, to be fair to Tom, I mean, he was pretty tired, wasn't he? He was shagged out after 7 years in the part and 2 years married to Lalla Ward, or in a relationship with Lalla Ward. Well, yeah, I think that probably could have shagged out a lot of people. In the nicest possible way, of course. Oh, God. Oh, we'll never get Lalla on now, will we? I don't know who I'm kidding. Ask Simon Horton to tell you his Lalla Ward story. Lee Smith says, nice warm hat, Dan. Got to keep your brains warm. Well, exactly. Particularly because my brain is very small. Very, very small. So it needs all the help it can get. A Dr. Hugh Day greeting from Shooty, says Rob Payne. Yes, poor old Shooty. Oh, I have company. I have more company. 1 second. And Stephen says, I reckon he recorded it on his first day. So guys, he's probably gone by now. This keeps coming around, doesn't it? The question of whether Ncuti Gatwa is gone by now or not. Is this the clincher?
A very happy Doctor Who day.
Did you see that, Gary? Happy Doctor Who day from Ncuti himself there.
Very nice. Very nice message from the Doctor.
Your sound, you've gone all Dalek. You sound like Roy Skelton after a night on the piss.
Do I sound like something's not right?
Oh, you sound like a Cyberman, a 10th Planet Cyberman.
There we go.
And I'm coming through as well. So there's something. Oh God, it's not just me. It's not just me. Even an old pro like Gary's having problems. See, we're all struggling to function. It's a heady time. It's a heady time after Doctor Who Day. I'm going to wait until he gives me the thumbs up, and then we'll see what we can scramble together. Yes. So what else is going on? Well, yeah, like I say, there's Ncuti Gatwa giving it the happy Doctor Who days, and obviously the jury is out. A lot of people do feel that he might have gone already. I'm not really seeing any evidence that's true. But you don't know, do you? We've had some new publicity pictures featuring Ncuti Gatwa, obviously that have been released. That happened while we were live streaming on Saturday. There's several of them. Okay, let's get back to the chat. Stephen Braddock said, I watched the Dalek Invasion of Earth on Doctor Who Day. It's such a dark story, but a classic. Yeah, a long one as well.
Dalek Invasion of Earth.
Gary's still having problems.
Do I still sound like I need to...
You will be like us.
Do I honestly sound like that?
Yeah, it's actually pretty cool. If you were going on stage with Orbital, that'd be pretty good.
Yeah, nice. Give me 1 second, Dan, and type what we've got. We'll be back in a second.
Oh God, we have yes. So who else is here? Cinescope's here too. That's Cinescope Pictures, of course, the makers of Hooligans, the new web series. Hello there. Didn't Matt Smith play with them at Glastonbury during his time? Yes, he did. We going back and back there. Yeah. Green screen Gatwa is never there. Oh no, that video was definitely shot on the set of the TARDIS. If he wasn't in costume, I might be suspicious of that too. But no, he was in costume, so I'm pretty sure he was actually there. This is we've got a new variation of Ncuti's costume in this picture, one of several pictures. the other day, someone said to me yesterday, and I won't say who because that wouldn't be fair, but somebody who I like said, "Oh, look at this. Those communists at the BBC, they've stuck him in, it's all red and yellow, the colours of the Communist Union." You can take things a little too far. Yeah, we know they're all a bunch of raging lefties, but, they're not. I don't think they're deliberately going with the colours of the Soviet Union. I can't see a hammer and sickle anywhere. It just goes to show, doesn't it, how far some of us have been pushed, though, when we can see, it's like Paul McGann's doctor said, seeing patterns and things that aren't there, I don't know. How are we getting on, Gary?
Are we good? We might be good.
We're good.
Yay.
You will be like us. You can be like me. We can understand what you've got to say for yourself. So, perfectly sensible question to start off your lunchtime. Is this new costume that we see Ncuti Gatwa's doctor in here, this new variation, is this a sign that he is a supporter of communism? Because of the red and yellow kind of general ambience of it, as somebody said to me the other day.
What a question to start off with.
Is that the strangest? It just goes to show, doesn't it? I try when people say this sort of stuff, because it's somebody who, generally speaking, I kind of align with my views of current Doctor Who. But when people say stuff like that, you think, is that how far that we've all been pushed and politicised? Whichever side of the political aisle we're on, is that how far that we've been pushed that we see patterns like that in something as innocent and cheesy as this silly promotional image? But it seems like that could be, we have been pushed that far.
Yeah, we have been pushed. I was going to say something similar, is this what we've become, Dan? We've become that fan who just sees, that pattern in things. But a communistic approach to his costume, I'm not sure.
No, it's a tough sell, isn't it, that one?
Yeah. To be honest with you, I didn't even notice the costume had changed. I had to watch the trailer a few times, but.
Yeah, I think it's subtle changes. I mean, his strides are very sort of Troughton-esque, aren't they, here?
Yeah. And he's changed his footwear as well, I believe. He's not wearing the trendy trainers anymore. I think those trainers were like £400 or £500 a pair or something like that.
Yeah, because Doctor Who fans went and did a sort of a check, didn't they, how much they were, and it came back that it was cost prohibitive, to the average cosplayer. It didn't go down too well. So we've got a couple of comments in the live chat. I mean, firstly of all, Gary, how was your experience, your Doctor Who day?
My Doctor Who day. So typically, what I do for Doctor Who day is a bit cliched. It's a bit, everyone does the same thing, but it's normally an Unearthly Child for me. I normally try and flip between the pilot that they produced before the actual broadcast version. So I normally watch that one, and then I just pick a random story. It's one of those things where just close my eyes, wag the finger in front of the shelf, wherever it stops, I'll just pull that one off. So this one, it was a Davison story, actually.
Say no more.
It was a Davison story.
Yeah.
But it was cool, though. It was cool. I don't mind diving into some Davison now and then. It's not really a revered era, but I don't mind it.
Oh, it's very much my era. I mean, there is an argument that says that Doctor Who is Doctor Who, and it's almost irrelevant who's playing the Doctor. If you want to scratch the itch, then any Doctor Who is good Doctor Who. Whatever you want to watch on that day, that particular day, that particular time works. Which Davison story did you go for?
The Visitation.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, I've not seen it in a while.
Absolutely love it.
Yeah, I started watching it ages ago. A couple of months ago, I got 20 minutes in, and then the door went, and then the phone went, and then something else happened. So so I bailed on it. But no, it's a great story, that one. Some really good supporting cast characters as well. Yeah.
Fabulous. Well, the regulars all get, in my opinion, the regulars all get something worthwhile to do or say. There's a nice set of support characters, particularly was it what's his name, Michael Robbins, who plays Richard Mace, the guy from On the Buses.
Yes, this is the League. Yeah, that guy.
Oh,
he's very cool. Yeah,
wonderful. Yeah, that's the kind of story that I'd go back to. PBS went back to the Three Doctors because it was on Pluto TV yesterday afternoon. Pluto TV is the one that streams stuff, isn't it? That streams Doctor Who on a permanent loop.
I think so. Do we have that here in the UK, or is it a US thing?
I think we have got it. I think we've got it because I see, but I don't think it's exactly the same. I don't think it's as big here. I think they've got several sort of strands to it. At least it's been watching The Seeds of Death, a bit of Troughton.
Oh, another good story. Classic in every sense.
Yeah. I did. I kind of did what you did. I did the live stream on Doctor Who day night, if you like, and we were talking, and I thought, am I going to watch some Doctor Who or am I not? I was thinking, well, am I a little bit Who'd out? And I didn't actually on Doctor Who Day watch any Doctor Who apart from our silly videos. But yesterday I thought, well, I'm going to watch. It's Doctor Who Day weekend, so I'll watch something. And I did what you did. I thought, well, I'll go back to the start. But I didn't fancy watching An Unearthly Child as such because I didn't watch it that long ago. We did a commentary track on it myself. Sarah and Simon did a commentary. So I went back to the pilot version. And because I don't think I've seen this in a good 8 or 9 years. And the same principle held true, Gary, that even though I've seen it a dozen times, maybe not as much as the transmitted one, there was still lots of stuff in it that I thought, I hadn't noticed that before. Even looking at this, at the title card here, because that's the title card for the pilot that I've got on this particular graphic, the white trim around the panel, the pull to open panel, it's painted white. And I mean, I must have seen it before because I've seen but I'd never clocked it before. It never went in there. And I think, that's interesting. I wonder why. Why have I never noticed it before?
Yeah, it's one of those things where if you don't watch, you fall out of the loop very quickly. If you're not watching that stuff on a regular basis, it happens to me all the time. Whenever I pick up a story, even in Modern Who as well, if I watch a story that I've not seen in months or even years, I'll always watch it again and think, was that in there before? I can't remember. Yeah, that must have been in there before, but I never noticed it. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
Well, I did feel that even though 61 years. Even though it's not a big year, it's not like a decades thing. I think it's worth celebrating, and to not watch Hartnell, I don't know. I think for some reason I got it in my head that I might have been disloyal. You may be angry with me, if I hadn't.
I think you've got to watch it though. Yeah, I think on Doctor Who Day, not the anniversary. When they do the when we've had the 50th and 60th and all that jazz, which seems to be like 99%. Newer Who stuff going on for some weird reason, but I think on actual Doctor Who Day, I think you have to watch some Hartnell for sure.
Where's that gone? I've lost my picture. Where's the picture gone? No, it's not there. Where is it? Boomerang. Nah, there it is.
There we go. Yeah, you've got to watch Hartnell right on Doctor Who Day. He would be pissed off as well. He'd be up there thinking, disappointing fellas. Disappointed.
Yeah. And this is the first time I've watched a classic Doctor Who story on my new TV as well. It's all a bit bigger and it's upscaled a little as well through other technology, I think. And now I'm starting to be able to tell that Hartnell was only in his early to mid 50s when he started doing it. He doesn't look quite as craggy as I remember him looking. You can see just that little bit better. It's I don't know. Maybe as I get up there in years myself, I'm trying to kid myself. But 54, was it 54, 55, something like that? It's not as old as it. Not as old as you think. Not as old as you think.
He always looks way old, or he's perceived to be way older. Even from that very first episode, you always, whenever you think back to it, you always think, he's a sort of 60, 70-year-old guy. At the end of what I know is at the twilight era of his career, of course, but I don't know. He always, in my memory, he always looks a lot older than what he actually was when he was filming that stuff. But of course, there's another problem as well, right? So we can't recommend. It's crazy to say, but there's probably people who have not seen An Unearthly Child, but we can't recommend it on iPlayer, can we? Because they still haven't sorted out the all the legal hoo-ha for that stuff. So,
oh, Steph Coburn. Oh, we had him on the podcast as well. That it just so happened that we dropped an interview with him that week when it all kicked off. Anyway, we did not get some flack for that. I mean, it doesn't bother me, because I think we'd spoken to him, and Steph himself I don't think he'd mind me saying he's quite an eccentric man and quite outspoken and quite I think it would be opinionated. Fervent in his views, he's very he's got some strong opinions, and he'll tell you why he holds them. But we recorded it in the summer, thinking, "Oh, this will be ideal for the 60th anniversary." The son of the man who wrote the original story coming onto our show. So we sat on that interview for months, and then the day that we publish it all goes up the pictures. And people got all sort of, "Oh, you've spoken to this man as well. Have you no shame?" I spoke to him back in May, and Steph himself is actually quite a fun and interesting and quirky man, and he's quite good company. I've got my views about all that stuff. But people, because you publish an interview with him, it's like, "Oh, you agree with him, you agree with this, you agree with that." Well, don't tell me what I agree with. I spoke to somebody. I'll speak to who I like. But going back to your point. Where did I go? Yeah, so An Unearthly Child is up on ITVX still, I think. They've still got a little while to run on that. So Simon tells me anyway.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, I don't know for how long, but yeah.
We shall see. We shall...
Physical media. That's why you keep hold of your stuff. Like this guy. I bet he's got physical media all over the place.
Yeah, I bet he has. We've got a comment here from Stephen Braddock who says, "Don't mention the war games. I mentioned it once.
And I think I love that. Yeah.
These are the silly sods that we managed to attract on this show. Afternoon, everyone, says Z3PO. Of course, this was the big news, wasn't it, the other day for Doctor Who Day, that the War Games is coming in colour. Yes, in colour. It says there. It must be in colour. It says there on the 23rd of December on BBC 4. I think it's here on BBC 4, and it's on the iPlayer. So this was the big news, wasn't it? Were you shocked?
I was shocked from a sort of production point of view. I was not because of from a fan looking in at the story. It's like it's a very popular story from Troughton's era. But I was more shocked from if you were going to pick a story to colorise, you would not pick the War Games because it's so bloody long. You're there forever doing that one. Yeah. So I guess there's an aspect of let's just get this one out the way if they are going to do a lot more of them. But I don't know. After the Daleks in colour, I just didn't think that they would pick the War Games because unless they've got some sort of clever AI algorithm that's helping out with the colorization. I don't know, but
it's ambitious, isn't it? If not, I mean, the colorization itself is obviously ambitious. Undertaking any classic material and doing that with it's ambitious in itself, and it's kind of setting oneself up for a fall, you could say, because every Doctor Who story is someone's favourite, blah, 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 blah. But when there's so much material and the questions that people like us are going to ask, and there's all that. And there's also a lot going on in it as well, whereas the Daleks... most of it was in the studio. The studios were it's studio walls that are mostly all the same colour. And from what I remember, the War Games I suppose it depends which material that they've kept, because there's only a third of it will make it through to the edit. So I don't know. We've just got to write it. It's only a month away, less than a month away until we find out.
Yeah, you're right, haven't they? They've edited it down into a kind of feature film runtime, right? Is it like 80 minutes, 90 minutes?
90 minutes, like
yeah. I mean, that's a lot to cut out. I don't know. Oh, this is going to be a one to discuss for years, but I don't know if that's going to hold enough value for Who fans to get the most out of that story. There's a bit of padding there for sure. Definitely padding in about half of those episodes out of the 10. But it's all good stuff, though. Like Troughton's so good in it, you know.
That's
and,
how I feel.
yeah, and some of those the characters who are communicating to and fro with the, you know, I don't know. It's just there's loads of very cool little nuggets in every episode. Although there's some padding.
The odds are, with a story like that being 10 episodes, and the War Games is in my top 10 stories. You know, this is maybe even my top 5. I adore it.
Oh, cool.
But odds are, with all that material, that plenty of, if you do, however you feel about the story, whether it's a favourite or not, the odds are that some of your favourite bits aren't going to be there. So I think, you know, that it stands to reason, doesn't it? It's, you look at the, you know, you look at the facts and the figures. I'm not a numbers guy, but if you think only a third of it's going to make it through, of course, some of the stuff you love is probably not going to be there. So I think the question, it's the sort of thing you either get over it now, or you don't watch it. I think it's
Do you think they've colorized everything? And there's 2 different versions. If you buy the set, so you get. Oh, they've done the edit first, decided what they want to put in, and then just colorize. Oh, gotcha.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. We were really fortunate on the live stream on Saturday to have some contributions, some comments, live comments, answering some queries from members of the colorization team, because several of them. Rich Tipple's been on the show. I know Scott. I know Aaron as well. So several of them popped up and answered a few questions. So we know a little bit about how it's all put together. But I would imagine this, as it goes on, we'll find out a little bit more. But I can see why people feel the way they do about it. And yes, and people have asked me about this as well. So yeah, we've got, if you want my my interview with Jacob Booth, otherwise known as the Confession Dial, this is what you've got to look for. This is Type 40 Extra number 54 from last year. And myself and Jacob went through in painstaking detail for about an hour how he put together his short film, Inside the Second Doctor Regenerates, we called it. And he took me through it pretty much step by step. So, and that's what's going to be, I don't know if it's actually literally incorporated or whether it's just inspired what they've done in the new War Games. We'll all find out together, won't we, on December the 23rd. God, nearly Christmas again. What's gone on? What have you done with 2024? Have you had it? Is this you? It's just up to you. It's just gone.
Well, I think as you get older, I'm not saying we're old, we're still in our 30s, but I think as you get older, the years just start to whiz by just that bit quicker than when you were younger. So, yeah, have this conversation every November or December. It's exactly the same. Me and my wife have this conversation, friends. It's like, where's the bloody year gone? It's like, same way it's gone with you.
Because life gets more frantic and faster paced, doesn't it? When you're being pulled in all directions from work and family and whatever. Content creation kind of does that to one as well, doesn't it? When you get on a treadmill like this, I think this is the beauty of being able to speak to you and get to know you like this, Gary, in that we can compare notes about some of this stuff that drives us nuts. We wouldn't do it if we didn't like it, but there's a treadmill aspect to it, isn't there? Which does mean that you're kind of thinking about October in June, July, and so that maybe we've only got ourselves to blame up to a point.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, with content creation, you often, I don't know how you do it with Type 40, but I've often got at least a couple of months, 2 or 3 months worth of stuff planned in advance. I try not to go too far. I don't plan the whole year or anything, but even that makes it worse, because when you get to the end of, if you call it a quarter, if you get to the end of the quarter and you've got the next one planned, that's already halfway through the year. And then before you know it, you're often... And you must spend, I don't know how many hours you clock up. We're live stream and everything, dude, throughout the year. But crikey. In terms of content creation, you must get to the end of the year and think, oh, okay, another 3,500 hours dropped into live streams, for sure.
It can be very unpredictable, particularly when you're talking about this lot. I mean, who'd handle this lot? Look at them all. You'd think that butter wouldn't melt, all those smiling faces, and they're a walking nightmare, each and every one of them.
That's a cool photo, isn't it? Yeah.
Crouching nightmares. love them all to bits. Yeah, well, it is a little bit like that. Peter Venkman fansite says he's human again. That's for your benefit. People are delighted to have you back and uncybered. Says Lee Smith there.
I didn't mind it for a while, but yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't to be there permanently, would you?
No.
Back to that publicity picture there. Robert Payne says it's more of a cranberry coloured coat. I would agree with that. I don't think it's hammer and sickle.
Yeah, I don't think it's quite red enough for that. More of a rouge, more of a red dwarf rouge colour maybe. Or cranberry. Yeah, cranberry works. I'm sure there's a Pantone colour associated with it from somewhere.
there he is.
Cranberry. There you go.
Seeing patterns where they don't exist, says Rob. Yeah. Lee got Lee in the live chat. He says, I've been watching the War Games for the first time properly and without falling asleep during a too long marathon. First 4 parts yesterday, and I'm loving it. Excellent stuff.
What a wimp. You haven't knocked out the 10 in one sitting. God.
You lightweight, Lee. You lightweight. It's just one of the things I do love about Doctor Who Day, sincerely love, is seeing what the fans share, what we share, our peers, whatever age group they are. And I mean, I saw for a start there was this piece of fan art. I thought you'd like this. I've saved this. Where are you? Yes, so it's this over on X. It's by a guy called Owen, and it's got all the doctors there. Mm-hmm. And I thought, well, wouldn't this make a fantastic tea towel? You know?
A tea towel.
And I've sent this to Owen.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, should I say this? But I sent him a message and said, you should put this on a tea towel. He said, oh, thank you very much. So he wasn't offended at all. But I just think it's lovely. And it's one of those things when you look at it, you see that little bit more, a munch on a banana with the Ninth Doctor, and think, so much love has gone into this. I think, it's just fabulous. This is what I love about being part of this community, you know, with all the frustrations, the things that make me a little bit grumpy sometimes.
That's this guy needs an Etsy store, right? Just get this on the
I think
the hankies, tea towels, yeah.
That's personally what I would do, and it's not that I'm not interested in the things that the celebs and stuff are up to, but I just like seeing what our peers are doing a little bit more. Got this bit of fan art as well from now. I've no idea why, but Phil Owens published this bit of fan art of Perry. Played by Nicola Bryant, obviously, as a vicar. Now, I don't know why. I'm not sure why Phil chose to render the gorgeous Nicola Bryant as a vicar, and I don't want to know.
I'll tell you what it is. This is every designer's first drinking game when they sign up to something like Midjourney. So you sign up to Midjourney, something like that, and it's like, okay, we've got some credits spare. What crazy stuff can we throw at it? I see. Nicola Bryant from Doctor Who as a vicar. There you go. Drinking games, dude.
You could be right. I mean, obviously, if Nicola Bryant was my local vicar, I'd become very devout.
Yeah, and they must have used a very young Nicola Bryant photo as well, because she's very young.
Yeah. You know? Yeah, Nicola's been up on X as well. She's one of the few silly actors that hasn't left X, and so she's been sharing. This can't let the day go by without saying happy birthday, Doctor Who. What a life it is, loving you. Such a wondrous journey. So many friends made and so many now missed. We are blessed to be part of the Doctor Who gang, the family, the incredible Whoniverse. Thank you and thank Who. What a lovely post.
You don't see that often, unfortunately, do you, within a community these days? It's all, yeah. I mean, you would expect that if somebody else had posted something like that, they'd be all over it, you know. Fandom would destroy it and stuff. But so, yeah, it's just lovely to to have a genuine post. Like, she is very genuine as a person, so I can believe
she seems to be. And this, because I was looking at it, I thought, my God, this friendship, this working relationship and friendship. When Nicola joined the series, she was 21, 22. Colin would have been in his mid-40s, and here they are, still together. Obviously, they were just colleagues there who'd just met, and now they've been literally lifelong close friends. And, and obviously, that would never have happened without Doctor Who, and it probably doesn't happen in many other jobs, acting jobs, because they move around so much. And I just thought, what a nice thing it was to read. It was quite wholesome, when you see all the crap that floats around from social media. And at the moment, as I say, there's a lot of silly actors being ridiculous and flouncing off making some sort of ridiculous statement. I mean, I have to say, in a lot of cases, my ex experience is going to be improved immeasurably by some of them not being. But not in Nicola Bryant's case. I think, generally speaking, I'm not saying I agree with her. I don't know much about her politics. I don't want to know, but I think she's a nice, genuine person, and that's a real human and warm sentiment that most people who have had colleagues and stuff, or just really close friends, are going to relate to that. And I think that's what we kind of need to get back to, Gary. Whether the cast or the fans, this show brings people together, and it always has. I think the lockdown stuff and the tweet-alongs prove that. I think we can get back to that actually quite quicker than people think.
Yeah, I'd like to think so. I'd like to think that there's a part of the community that never really wants to get into any of these spats and down the rabbit holes of, just for the sake of it. But I think there is a way to get back there. I think it just needs, well, like you just mentioned when we had the tweet-alongs, was it Emily Cook? Emily Cook, yeah. I think every now and then we just need not necessarily a leader, but we just need somebody a tad inspirational that's just going to signpost people, or just give people a nudge in that direction a little bit. When you just let fandom go by themselves, I think that's when people just can't do it themselves. But
like him, the right person at the right time.
Look at that smile.
I'm not the only one who went back to the start here over Doctor Who Day weekend. Michael Q said An Unearthly Child. I think he's been watching An Unearthly Child. So was grumpy old Bob 56. I'm a bit of a traditionalist. I think most Doctor Who fans are. I think
same.
This is another thing you notice: the people who came to it in the 21st century with the new series, they've got their rituals and traditions just the way that a lot of us have. Have you spotted that?
Yeah. I saw loads of people tweeting that they had, for Doctor Who Day, they had watched Rose because the newer era of Doctor Who was there. When they were 15, 16, and they started watching Who, that was their Doctor Who. So now fast forward, however many years, it makes me feel old, but however many years forward from when Rose came out, what was that, 2005? So
2005.
Yeah. So that's now their that's now their tradition. So it's great, that generational leap, if you like. It's cool.
Yeah. And I was saying earlier on before you got here how we're Doctor Who fans are always celebrating something. Today is the 40th anniversary of the Five Doctors screening, and people are celebrating that on social media. And of course, very soon, in 3-4 months, we've got the 20th anniversary of New Who, so people will be celebrating that. They got the Ninth Doctor and Rose here, obviously.
After he's eaten a few biscuits. Yeah.
From back in 2005 there. So you can imagine it's all going to start again. And I just think that the not we, whether it's the people in our lives, our wives, husbands, children, parents, cousins, colleagues, just look at us and think, are they off again? Particularly if we're connected on social media. It's like, what?
Yeah. Well, you can apply that to so many things, right? It's like the 40th anniversary of that story when it first went live on TV, or it's the anniversary of when this Doctor started, or there's loads. You could do it pretty much every month of the year. You could probably have a couple of anniversaries easy.
Yeah.
You could celebrate. Easy. Yeah. But they must think we're lunatics, though. They must think we're just absolute, like you and that bloody show.
Well, that video of Shooty's where he says "Happy Doctor Who Day." I was saying he just has no idea what he's saying or why he's saying. To be fair to him, why should he?
Yeah, I mean, who's he saying it to as well? Is he saying it to all of fandom, like true fans like us?
A girl with a clipboard and somebody holding the boom mic just a foot away. Go, right, go. It's just like that, isn't it?
Yeah, like Shooty, there should be a 2-minute thing, buddy. Let's just get this done. Easy.
And of course, you're going from job to job to job. You think, well, his other work, you're unlikely to get another job where there's a whole day technically kind of designated as a celebration of a job that you do. I mean, I very much doubt that there is a sex education day. Except, well, every day is a sex education day. But, you know.
Every day's a school day, Dan.
Why do I say these things, Gary?
Lunchtime tipple.
Get me out of this, Luke. Get me out of this. Luke's very excited for the War Games and not the WWE one happening this weekend. Who's in the WWE one? And will they be colorised? That's what we want to know. And how many rounds they're going to manage to get it down to from 10 on the WWE War Games? Simon Anthony watched all 10 episodes a few nights ago in one lump. Wow. That's commitment, Simon.
Respect,
Simon. Done.
Yep.
Whoa. We've got a good morning and good afternoon from Rose Kirby in the live chat. Stephen adds that some things are meant to be in black and white, like early Doctor Who, The Outer Limits and The Twilight Zone. Yeah, of course, because obviously material back then, they didn't make it. I mean, certainly by the time you got to the 60s, they didn't make it in black and white to make some sort of artistic statement. They would have, if they could have, they'd have made these things in colour. If they'd been able to afford them, they wanted to adapt it to colour years before they actually did. But filming in black and white and making stuff in black and white, it had its own not technical problems, but it had its own limits, didn't it? And they realised that just in the same way that screens, the average TV screen was not just a certain orientation but a certain size, they made that material for those parameters. I mean, when I was watching that pilot, I was telling you I was watching the pilot and I saw that painted sign. I thought, there's no way. Maybe it's because it's the first time I'm watching it on a 50-odd inch TV, the 60-inch TV, whereby when I last saw it, my TV was a lot smaller. And you think back to the days of to 63, and although that pilot was never, we know that pilot was never going to go, the principle's the same. Material made at that time, screens were so much smaller. There's no way you could see the creases on somebody's crow's feet, for example, bits of sellotape holding sets together, brush strokes of white lines around a bit of one prop. So it's a cluster of things. And I think we focus, obviously, when somebody colorizes something, we think, well, the obvious, it wasn't always in color, but they didn't make it in color then because of limitations, just in the same way that there are other limitations and realities of the situation.
Yeah, 100% agree. I think, I think as you get older and size is a factor, Dan. And you do notice these things a lot more. So, a good example is It's a Wonderful Life. So that's I remember seeing some stuff about that when they were making it. I think it was a cinematographer or somebody did mention something around the limitations they had to work with. So it was a case of, we have this limitation, but we have no knowledge of it at the time. So at the time, back in those old black and white days, you don't sit there and think, we've got this round the corner or that round the corner. You just made it with the money you had. A bit like classic Doctor Who. You made it with the money you had at the time, and you don't worry about, or they didn't worry about, will it be in colour one day? Will it be this aspect ratio? No. Will it have all this stuff? There's no way of knowing what's around the corner. So, yeah, it's an unforced limitation. Yeah.
Whatever will be, right, Tom? Yeah. David Mullen says, if you cut down Kirk Douglas' classic film Spartacus to 90 minutes, is that improving the film? Hi, David. To the best of my knowledge, nobody involved in the presentation, the reoffering of the War Games as a 90-minute, has professed to be improving it. It's an alternative presentation. So, I think we can put words in their mouths that they haven't said, or that aren't their intentions. Simon Anthony asks, Will Patrick, who will he regenerate into? The Renegade, perhaps? Well, we know who he's going to regenerate into. Well, I do. And if you watch my interview with Jacob, you should see there. I know that people are speculating on that, but don't jump at shadows, everybody. Don't spend a month fretting about something that's not going to happen. PB Props is also in the live chat. Hi, PB. Says that personal best. What does PB stand for? Oh, peanut butter. What do you think? What do you think PB stands for, Gary? Let's have a punt.
You took the words out of my mouth. The peanut butter. Personal branded props.
But yeah, that could be it.
Potential. Pretty big props.
Pretty big.
Who knows?
PB Props says, I haven't watched any classic Who since the mid-90s, so none of these re-edits would interest me. I prefer to keep them all as memories. So that's somebody who's made a conscious effort after 30 years to never watch this stuff again in any way at all, because I suppose what they remember, it's not going to ever live up to it. I've never heard that perspective before, but again, different strokes for different folks.
Yeah, a friend of mine said this about a different show years ago, and I thought he was bonkers. I can't remember what it was now, what the show was, but he was like, no, I don't want to go down that road again. I don't want to. I think it was an animated show. I think it was Batman, the animated series. And he'd watched them all as a kid. And then they bought the Blu-ray box set out and stuff like that, and they had cleaned up the image and stuff. And he was like, no, I don't want to do it. Like, I've got fond nostalgic memories of that show when I was a kid, so I don't want to. It's crazy, yeah. You want your head looking at? Go and watch it.
I can see why up to a point, but I mean, there are some things I've watched so many times. You think, if they're not broken by now, they never will be. The Postman came earlier on, or the Amazon Man, or Amazon, the Amazon Man. Like the Postman, the Amazon Man. It's either a postman or a woman, came with this. And this is the new edition, the Blu-ray of the Box of Delights, which it's the 40th anniversary one. I'd hate to think how many times I've seen the Box of Delights. At the time, it was the most expensive kids show ever made, and certainly ever made by the BBC. I think it cost them £1 million, which at the time was like, whoa, that was half of Terry Wogan's salary back then. So it's big money.
Big bucks. Yeah, and what a great show that is as well. Terry Wogan's salary, yeah. What a great show. Yeah.
I can't wait to see it. John Yulden says, it took me bloody ages to lean down in that picture and touch the grass. The sunburn had hit solar radiation levels. So, yeah, John was there with the others. And that was in Lichfield, wasn't it, that picture that I flashed up earlier on? Yeah, good stuff. Stephen Braddock says, I love the jolly artwork. Perfect for brightening up a kitchen. Yeah, tea towel art. Nothing wrong with tea towel art. As a commercial artist myself, I co-sign this. Hey Dan says, PD Rich.
What does PD stand for?
PD stands for... Now, I know what it stands for, but am I allowed to say?
Partially dimensional rich.
Ooh, partially dimensional. That sounds like a TARDIS in a state of construction, doesn't it? Now, we've got an oi oi for the rabbi here, says problem being. But I can't actually see the rabbi, the notorious Who tuber, in the live chat, but he must be here because people are saying hello to him. So it's very unusual for the rabbi to slip in anywhere unnoticed. But hi, Rabbi. If you are here, Rabbi, hello. Why do people think Shooty has already left? Asks MCTV. Oh, don't open that can of worms. But yeah, great many people do. Simon Anthony is still on X. Thank heaven, Simon Anthony. Yes, you bring them back to the realms of common sense. Like, so, yeah, I won't name the silly actors, but some of them are surprisingly silly. Roberts also enjoyed Nicola Bryant's simple, appreciative post on X. Lee's busy working on his 1/13th scale 80s TARDIS console room, so I'm going to be a bit intermittent. Well, if there's a good reason to be intermittent, Gary, I think assembling your own TARDIS console room has got to be one of them.
I was going to say, that's a lovely distraction to have, building that. Dude, are you going to get the this new construct your own Dalek thingy that's launching next month or the month after? I might do that for the crack.
You know what? It's the kind of thing I haven't gone with a part work for decades, and I didn't even buy the complete history hardbacks. And part of me does regret not buying those. But every other part work that I resisted, be they volumes of hardback volumes of comic stuff that I like. There's a massive DC collection that I'd have really liked. I always end up, by the time I go into a shop and see part 20 at $12.99, I think, yeah, you might have dodged a bullet with that. And that's how I feel about this Build a Dalek. I'm sure it'll be spectacular when it's finished. And I don't know. Are you gonna buy it? Have they said how many parts it's going to be in?
No, they haven't. Not yet. But I'm thinking about it. I might do it because, like you, I've not done any of those. It does. Yeah, it looks really cool. I've not done any of these things for many, many moons since I was a nipper. So might do it.
Because there's pictures out there of what it's supposed to look like when completed. But you've not got any guarantee. Publishing is really uncertain at the moment, particularly any kind of periodical. And part works are no different. I think people who subscribe to the Eaglemoss stuff found that out 2 years ago when it was all like that. And people who subscribed ended up out of pocket. Not only I don't want that to be me, but I don't want a half-assembled Dalek sat on my hearth either. You know, that's some sort of monument to a lapse in judgment on my part. So I hope that, I'm glad when I see things like that pop up, get announced, get confirmed, and start to appear. I'm always glad that Doctor Who's represented in that world, but it's just not. It's just not for me, I think.
Mm-hmm. No, I read you. It's not for everyone, but might be cool. Apparently, they've got some cool little gizmo circuit board thing to put in it, where you can upload some AI stuff and it can zip around and do stuff. So that's the only reason why it's appealing to me. It's not just your standard, you build it and then it sits on the shelf. I think it does stuff. I think. Yeah.
I'll have to go and read up some more then, and we'll be able to see what it can say. If it can sort of act as a modulator as well, and you can get it to say whatever you like, that could be fun.
That could be fun. Yeah.
No, Gary says, PD Rich, we're fanatics. They're lunatics at the moment.
Yeah, it's everyone else, PD. I read you.
And Lee says his mother asked him what he wanted for Christmas, and followed that immediately with nothing Doctor Who. You can tick that off the list right away. There's not as much Doctor Who stuff available now. We've got Anthony Parkinson in the live chat. Hi, Anthony. Good to see you, mate. And Grumpy Old Bob has confessed that he was 16 in 1972 when the Pertwee episode package was first syndicated in the States, and he was a fan from the start, from the Pertwee stuff being put onto American TV.
That's cool. Yeah. What a feeling that would have been to have watched that for the first time.
Yeah. I mean, we get people, Matt Potter regular on the live stream, we get people, Australians come on, people from New Zealand, and they never fail to mention how throughout the 80s in particular, but I think it was going on into the 90s, how Doctor Who was on literally every afternoon after school. Classic episodes that were only just coming out on VHS here. They were getting it every single night. Doctor Who and Monkey and all these other shows. And I'm glad that they got them, don't get me wrong, but part of me still thinks you... Gary Akers is up. He says, I get out of bed and Type 40 is already broadcasting. I'm looking forward to the War Games. the original is still there for us to enjoy.
Of course.
Yeah.
And I think it's important that you mentioned this earlier, that this is not a replacement or an improvement or anything like that. It's just a different take. Yeah.
Yeah. Anthony says the tellies were small back then, but the ideas were big, and now it's the other way around.
Oh, Anthony. Cynical Monday.
Oh.
Yeah.
And Pete Venkman says here the first screens had magnifiers. Talk about museum piece. I'd forgotten that. Yeah, the first tellies they had a magnifying component, didn't they?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Odd. Says they've made the Time Lords have glowing eyes. They have. That's going to be one of those sort of bigger swings. You're either on board for it or you're not, aren't you? It's not. Yeah. That when I saw that, I thought, ooh, don't like that. It makes them look demonic. And I think Time Lords aren't that interesting. They're bureaucratic and a bit stuffy, and they're not the gods of Ragnarok, you know.
True.
But again, I'll wait until I watch it in context on the whole thing. Really,
gotta wait. Gotta wait.
Simon Anthony worked in the TV industry for a long time. I won't say exactly how long. Well, he probably wouldn't mind me saying. Worked on several Doctor Who's and classics like Blackadder. And he says, he chimes in with a bit of expertise here. Old TVs had granny cutoff. The size today shows all the video area. Oh, got it. Okay. So you're talking about going from 4:3 to 16:9. Extra at the edges was lost on old TVs because of difficulties getting domestic sets to do the job properly. They had what did they call it? Was it called the horizontal hold, or is that a component of the TARDIS?
Oh, I don't know, mate. I think horizontal hold. Yeah, I don't know. I think with these old sets, didn't they used to have the little things that popped up in the corner back in the day when you knew an advert was coming? Yeah. So there was space allocated around. Is that what Simon's talking about?
I don't know.
They had like this gap around the outside that they could put stuff in.
Granny Cutoff. It's not unless Granny Cutoff is another. It's an episode like Dalek Cutaway, and it's just he's talking about a specific episode of Doctor Who. Mission to the Unknown was Granny Cutoff. There we are.
It's a cool name.
Michael Guzman suggests maybe he'll regenerate into Cher and start singing. Well, you never know.
Well, it's one extreme to the other. Yeah, it's singing or crying, one of the two.
Patrick Troughton or Shooter Gatwa. I don't know. PD Rich says that PD stands for painfully brittle.
You knew that, right?
No.
You knew that. Oh, you didn't. Painfully brittle.
Oh, God. Michael Guzman's here again, yes. Simon says, I'm amazed at how much I miss on first viewing. Multiple rewatching really pays off. And we've got, more than 50% of the box of delights are in the live chat as well. I've got that on pre-order, says Stephen Brady.
Yeah, such a cool show that was. Really is way ahead of its time when that first landed. Yeah, very cool show.
Are you old enough to remember it as well?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember.
So
it was very cool.
Absolutely captivated. I saw a preview of it on Blue Peter, and they showed the sequence of when Cole Hawlings holds the box between his two hands at the fireside and conjures up the Phoenix. And I hadn't seen anything like that outside of a Disney movie. I couldn't believe that it was something the BBC were doing. Couldn't believe it. I can't wait to see it again.
Yeah, I don't think I fully understood it 100% when I was younger, but I've seen it a few times since then. I love it. Yeah.
You want a travesty? You want travesty, says Peter Venkman. The redubbed episodes of The Real Ghostbusters. A mistake when rerunning on Saturdays, and another to add as an extra track on DVD. Yes, you see, this is a real deep dive for Ghostbusters fans. I didn't know they'd redubbed episodes of Real Ghostbusters. It does seem like a shame. A classic cartoon show.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't know about the Real Ghostbusters. I've tried to get hold of. They did a really cool box set. They did all the all the DVDs in a big Ghostbusters Firehouse collector set.
Oh, okay.
About 10, 15 years ago. And to my knowledge, it's the only place where you get the entire run all together. I think it was a couple of £100 when it landed, and now it's like, I don't know, £3,000 on eBay or something like that. Yeah. So I can't watch them. I don't think they repeat them. But yeah, I love that show though.
For a time on the official Ghostbusters YouTube channel, they were putting an episode out every week. It's completely free to watch, but I think that's stopped.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm sure Peter Venkman Fansite will tell us whether we're right or wrong. Dan, says Matthew Butterfield, I didn't realise you did daytime. Now and again. People like it. It sort of started accidentally, and we've roped Gary in, roped a few other people in to do bits and bobs here and there, and we're having a blast. My first season of Doctor Who was season 6.
We're like the Richard and Judy of Doctor Who.
That's it. We'll just start our own book club, won't we? My first season of Doctor Who was season 6, says Stephen Braddock. My God, season 6. Well done.
Well done. Gold star, Stephen. Season 6.
I had no idea you were that venerable, Stephen. You're wearing it well. Rob Alexander's looking forward to the BBC4 rerun of the Box of Delights every Saturday in December, and that'll take him up to War Games on the 23rd. Hope they do something for Tom Baker's 50th Who anniversary on the 28th. Another anniversary. I think we can't expect.
It's ridiculous.
Them to observe that. Yeah, it's fine for us in the fandom, but nobody else is really going to care. I mean, I if you ask Tom about it, I mean, he might remember vaguely playing Doctor Who, but I wouldn't necessarily bank on that either.
The Box of Delights episodes that are putting on the BBC, they will be the remastered ones as well. It won't be the old stock library. Yeah, it's going to be the new. The
ones I've just bloody paid for, mind you, I can't complain because I don't have a license anymore. So I suppose what I've paid for my Blu-ray would be the equivalent of what I would have paid for the TV license for 2 months or whatever else. I can't. Yeah, about that. I can't and won't complain because I can watch my Blu-ray over and over again, can't I, mate?
To your heart's content. Yeah. 100% legally. Yeah.
I've still got my DVD, of course I have. And will I trade the DVD in? Probably not. I'd like to say yes, but probably not.
No, that's staying on the shelf. Defo.
2025 will be the 40th anniversary of Doctor in Distress. Fingers crossed for a big celebration. I can talk to Ian about it. He is gradually. I've been working on Ian Levine on this for about 9 months now. We're gradually working on him to accept the fact that people do love Doctor in Distress, even though he hates it. I mean, from his point of view, it kind of blighted his career, and people who want to kind of do him down do tend to sort of use it as a stick to beat him with. So, in all sincerity, of course, I see where he's coming from, but I'm genuinely fond of that song. I can't. I'm not going to apologise for that. And we've got fellow part work addicts here, or people who sort of recovered from them. Stephen Braddock said that he got the figurine collection and used to get the complete history books as well.
Oh, cool! I got a few of those figurines.
They're very popular. They were going to do a graphic novel collection as well, but I don't think that ever surfaced.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Stephen's just had his Box of Delights set delivered.
Cool.
And Simon Anthony has corrected me. A horizontal hold was the tweak to stop the picture tearing left to right. Vertical hold would stop the picture from rolling.
Oh. Actually, I think you might have jogged my memory there. On some old TVs, did you have a little knob that you could turn so the picture rolled for a bit and then you got it to a point and it would stay in the middle? I might be imagining that, but I think there was a setting on some TVs to sort that out. I think
there was one on, what was that? We used to have a portable black and white television, which I think my mother had since she moved in with my dad, and that had got that on it. I can picture it now in my head.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that was a thing. God, the stuff you had to do, Dan, just to be able to watch TV back in the day.
Stand up on the roof of the kitchen extension, holding a bit of wire, shouting down to somebody.
Stop, stay there. Yeah.
Put your leg in the air. That kind of thing.
That Mr. Bean episode. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, so we've got more confirmation. Granny Cutoff was not an episode of Doctor Who like Granny Cutaway. It was due to the line scan length being longer than the actual display area of the CRT, of the cathode ray tube. Yeah, of course, I was just being silly. Time Lords change over time, and so does sense of humour, Simon. I think mine's about my sense of humour. I think by my reckoning, it's now about 25 years out of date. So, it's getting up there.
We're all playing catch up, mate. Don't worry.
Oh dear. I've got some more comments as well from people who've been enjoying this. Believe it or not, Gary, there's no account for taste.
Believe it or not.
Oh God! Yeah, so what have you got lined up now that Doctor Who Day is done? All the excitement is over, and we've got all this anticipation now. 4 weeks of solid anticipation for the War Games and for Christmas itself. Obviously, what is on your list? Are you going to be that sort of waylaid with family commitments and things like that? You think, the geeky side to me will have to wait, or have you got little things that you mind December with to help you through some Gary time? You think, I'll get that in, I'll get that movie in, I'll get that TV show in. Have you got that?
I've got a very rough list. Yeah, a rough list in my head. Family commitment stuff I'll save until the last week of December, or just before Christmas. I'll get all that knocked out of the way in a couple of days. So I think there's a couple of shows that I want to watch non-Doctor Who. So I'm partway through a rewatch of the X-Files at the minute. So I'm going through that.
Oh.
And then I want to watch the Box of Delights. And then there was something else as well that I wanted to watch. And then in terms of Doctor Who, I've finished up a big classic rewatch a few months ago. So I've got no real sort of classic Who to dive into. So the only thing really...
All 26 seasons.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was like a second time round for me watching all that stuff. So I've finished that. The only thing I might watch is the... my eyes were like that as well at the end of it. But I might dive into the whole War Games thing, mate. That's an obvious one. See what that's like. And that's about it, dude. What about you?
I have a list. I've always got a list, and I think I only ever make my way through around a half of it. Last year I bought Home Alone on Blu-ray. The intention being to watch it last year. I didn't, but I don't think you can't really watch. Well, I can't watch movies like Home Alone any time after January the 2nd. So I've got a Blu-ray of Home Alone waiting for me, and I think I've told myself, I'm going to watch Home Alone 2 as well, and maybe the third one too. I might watch a couple more of those. But I've got a couple of Christmas movies that I've had sort of set aside that I simply have never watched. There was a horror movie called Krampus from a couple of years ago. I'm determined to get that in. So there's that one. But there's some certain sort of classics of cult TV as well that I'd like to get in. Blackadder's Christmas Carol is something that I always try to watch. I don't think I managed that last year either.
What about Christmas with Mr. Bean when he goes into the department store and he plays with the Daleks? And that's a great episode.
I haven't seen that in years, and I've totally forgotten that there was any Daleks in that. So I think that's just gone back on the list. I think that could be on the list. That could be one. Because, fun enough, Mr. Bean is one of the things that I've bought on DVD in the last year or so. I'm a scourge of car boot sales. And I got Mr. Bean. I got Mr. Bean before on videotapes and things like that. And I transferred the videotapes to DVD-Rs, but they were shit quality. And I saw this box set at a car boot sale, so I picked that up. But I haven't seen any Mr. Bean for 20 years, maybe more.
Oh, it's so good. So good. One of my favourites.
I loved it at the time. Absolutely loved it at the time. But what else? I mean, as regards Doctor Who, Sarah and I are going to get together and review a Doctor Who Christmas special. And I'm not going to tell you which one, everybody, that's going to be for the podcast. So I'll definitely be getting at least one Doctor Who special in. but I'd like to get more in, ideally.
Always. But space and time, as always, is an issue. Because I always
That's what it is?
Yeah, I'll always plan stuff. And for this, not talking about Doctor Who specifically or TV shows, but like you, I've got a mental list of TV films that I want to watch. And I know that I won't get around to all of them. I think there's about 12 films, I think. Die Hard being one of them. Yes, it is 100% absolutely a Christmas movie. And then a bunch of other stuff. But I know I won't watch them all. But there'll be like plans to do it, and then something will come up and all that stuff. You know how it is.
Die Hard, the first Die Hard, and I think I got the second one. I intended on watching the first and the second last Christmas. Didn't watch either of them.
Exactly the
same. They were out because the set, I've got a box set of them, and they're all like slimmer case inside, and they were next to my TV in my to watch pile. I can't until February, until I thought, come on, Dan, you may as well forget it until next year.
Yeah, I'm just going to casually
missed the window. You've missed the window. Lee Smith has picked up Reggie Perrin on DVD, the box set for £2.50. Brilliant bargain.
Reginald Perrin. Yeah.
We want to know all your bargains. I am looking forward to the new Wallace and Gromit movie it's on the BBC, but it's actually a Netflix thing. So I think the BBC have got it for a week, and then it goes on to Netflix, because even though the BBC are going, oh, new BBC Wallace and Gromit, Netflix have financed this movie. The BBC have just got it for the Christmas period. So I know that even though I can't, it depends where I am on Christmas Day, because I'll probably be at a relative, so I might actually see it Christmas Day, come to think of it. I'll certainly see Doctor Who. But if they're on one after the other, I might see both, come to think of it, but depending on where I am, I might get to see both. But either way, I'm going to see that new Wallace and Gromit movie.
Yeah,
that's cool. So I'm looking forward to that. And A Ghost Story for Christmas, looks like they're doing another one of those, the Mark Gatiss things. Rose asks, will you be celebrating the 40th anniversary of Ghostbusters on Saturday? Well, we won't be on Type 40, but we might do something with that on the Spacebook Live, on the Spacebook channel. If you're subscribed to that, with myself and Ian and Bowles Trek and Matt and Gary and the various people who come on for that. So stay tuned. We actually did a Ghostbusters show about 3 years ago in the run up to Ghostbusters Afterlife. So I think, is it worth going over it all again? I don't know, but we will probably mention it. But if you're not subscribed, consider getting over to the Spacebook, and you can get our live streams there about all things non-Doctor Who with a wry smile at everything that's going on in popular culture. So there was our show about Wicked a few weeks ago, our show about Superman, the Christopher Reeve documentary. We had our Karate Kid show as well. So yeah, if we don't do Ghostbusters next, then we will almost certainly go back there at some point. Blake 7 fans are going to want to get all over this. Teleport, the Blake 7 podcast, and Teleport Now, our Blake 7 live stream pilot that we put out last week. Those still up on the channel. More comments, please. Thrilled with how well these have gone down, Gary. You're not a Blake 7 guy, though, are you? A mutual friend told me about this. You've never really seen it, or you've never felt it?
I've tried, buddy. I've tried a couple of times. Yeah, interesting. We've got some podcast activity coming up to do with Blake 7 in the new year.
Oh,
which is going to be an opportunity, to try and get my head into it. I've tried twice now. I always get 2 or 3 episodes in, or at least 2 episodes in, and then I just think, so I need to push through. But yeah,
third time could be the charm.
Could be. Well, I hope so. Yeah.
Looking forward to hearing that, to see how you get on with it. And yeah, socially, there we are. Yeah, so stay tuned, Rose. I can't promise that. We need more Blake 7, says Lee Smith. Everybody needs more Blake 7. Gary does too. He just doesn't know it yet.
Apparently so, I'm told.
Yes. I think I hate to say it, the time has ticked on. We're all out, and I think have you had lunch yet, Gary? Have you eaten yet?
No, No, I've been in boring day job meetings so far, so I need to go and grab a bite. Yeah.
You need to get something, get your gams round something. Yeah, I mean, it's not like the old days where you can nip out to the paper shop, is it? But I love these pictures. Yes, I don't know what I'm going to have either. It's maybe some crumpets. I don't know, something simple. I think something
crumpets
simple.
With Nutella. That'll work.
Nutella? Oh no.
Nutella or peanut butter. Come on, Dan.
I'm not a peanut butter guy. I'm not a peanut butter guy, actually. I don't know what it is about it. It never tastes as nice, as I think it's going to taste. Which does take us right back to PB Props here, Peanut Butter Props, who's seen a couple of... You're going to have to change your name now, whether it's... who says, I've seen a couple of episodes of Blake 7. Not really my thing. Doubt if ever will be now. Well, the elitist attitude, PB.
Crikey.
I don't know. Good stuff. And we've got a good morning from Lord Thoth, who's just woken up. Marvellous stuff. Thank you, everybody, for all of these comments, for keeping us company over the last nearly hour and a half here at Type 40 with my friend Gary there. Obviously, Gary, you are the driving force, aren't you, behind the Big Blue Box podcast. What have you been talking about recently, and when's the next episode dropping of that?
So we've been on a couple of weeks break, so there's been no episodes for a couple of weeks. But this week we've got 2 episodes dropping. We've got the November roundtable where the writing team are going to hop on. We do that every month.
I like that.
And we're probably going to talk about the Christmas special trailer and a couple of other bits. And then we've got another episode dropping as on Friday, which will be just what's happening in Doctor Who, basically, like a bit of a news roundup.
Yeah.
So 2 eps this week. Yeah, good stuff.
Fantastic stuff, and the countdown to Christmas begins. We've been on a bit of a break with the Type 40 podcast as well, where we sort of moved the furniture around a little. It wasn't a planned one, but I worked out we'd been recording non-stop for about 3.5 years. Probably a little bit of a break might do us some good. So yeah, the last one we put out was an interview. We've recorded a couple since, but it's like you said, we like to bank up a few before we start releasing them again. So we'll stay tuned, everybody. There's more podcasts and things on the way, as well as the live streams. I better get back to clearing up after Doctor Who Day. I mean, look at the state of this. I don't know. Bloody hell. Thank you for your company, Gary. You know, you're not going to help me with any of this, I know, but you know, it's been good anyway. You know, you've helped me through the fog of the day after Doctor Who Day. It's just another 12 months. We'll do it all again. D62 or 2025, celebrating even more. We must be mad. We must be mad. Right, yeah. As always, everybody, we'll see you in the comments with more of your thoughts about all of this and all of that and a bit of the other as well, whatever takes your fancy. And I'll see you back on the channel for Type 40 Live later in the week. Thank you again to Gary. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for all of those comments there in the live chat as well. You enjoy the rest of your days or your nights, depending on when you're catching up with this, and we'll speak to you all again soon. Bye bye.
Bye guys. Bye.